I think I'll probably survey till the day I die. Or my wife takes it away from me, one or the other.
Welcome to the Pulaski Planner, where we share the stories and wisdom of the professionals who manage our public lands. I'm Katherine Kirshner, your guide to building a retirement as adventurous as your career. Let's get started.
Thanks. Well, I sure appreciate your time. So the point of today is just to kind of learn about your journey in the agency and to see, what kind of stories or insights you may have for other people. And just kind of let's see where the conversation goes. Is that okay? Sound good to you?
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good to me. You want me to just start about how I started and everything? And okay.
Starting kind of at the beginning, how did you find yourself working for the Bureau of Land Management?
Well, I actually am second generation. My mom worked for BLM. She was a realty specialist for years and ended up retiring from HQ. So that's kind of how I knew about BLM. And surveying, I just kind of fell into that. It was kind of a summer job out working in the woods. Okay, yeah, great. Sounds good. I loved it. I was hook, line, and sinker. So that's kind of how I started. I kind of just fell into it. My mom knew about the program, let me know about the seasonal position. And so that's kind of how I got started in it.
Cool. So did you go to college knowing that that's where you wanted to end up, or how did your...
Nope. Actually, I started out going for biotechnology. I was started in Powell, Wyoming for a semester, then ended up in Bozeman, Montana. And I ended up getting a summer job with BLM, liked it so much. I never went back to college. I do not have a college degree. I actually ended up qualifying as a 1373 land surveyor by getting licensed in Alabama. So now I'm currently licensed in Idaho too. So that's kind of how I got qualified, but I don't have a degree. So,
Yeah, well, that's funny you mentioned Bozeman. That's sort of my backyard.
oh, okay.
My husband's a bobcat, and so we definitely know that stomping ground. But cool. So is that something that's common in your field today, that you can be a surveyor without a degree?
Nope.
Not.
Actually, it's kind of changed. Our requirements now require a degree, and most states now require a degree for licensure too. So I'm kind of a leftover from the past.
Nice. Well, it's nice to be grandfathered in.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly. Yep.
Well, but anytime you can spend more time outdoors instead of in a classroom is a win, right?
That's me. Yeah, I'm a very outdoors person. That's really what hooked me. You pay me to work outside? Well, okay. So,
I see that you've moved around a lot in your career.
yep.
Would you say that that is an advantage, or is that something that maybe discourages certain people from pursuing this kind of work?
I feel like it's an advantage. It helps you learn how other offices do things. Every BLM office is a little bit different, particularly by state. And so in cadastral survey, you really learn more of the types of surveying. So it's a good thing in our program. It is not easy though. Moving is, I don't know if you've ever moved before. I moved 5 or 6 times now and lived in DC area. And so cross country moves. It's very difficult. The wife does not like it. The kids do not really like it, but we all do it. And that's kind of the sacrifice. Another kind of throwback. It used to be to move up in the federal government, you'd have to move. And so that's kind of why I did what I did. I moved a lot because I didn't have that degree to kind of just step up the ladder where I was. So.
Yeah. How was your time in DC? My firm is based out of DC. I'm in Montana, but the firm I work for is out of DC. So what was that like for you?
Well, we lived in south of DC, and it was about a 2-hour commute to get to the office the last time I was living there. And for me, I was just too much. And I'm not much of a city person, much more outdoors, forest, the woods kind of person. So I kind of enjoy it in a way. Cities are kind of fun, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm definitely more of a rural person. So my brother just retired from the Capitol Police Bomb Squad. He was in DC for about 20 years, so but he's on the road now, so but
That
yeah.
sounds like an intense job. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it sounds like you have a family. I don't know if it's a big family, but where do you call home? Where's your roots?
Well, I've moved around so much. I was born in Wyoming. My wife actually grew up in Livingston, Montana, just across the pass from you. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and so yeah, it's I kind of feel like Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Rockies. Yeah, this is kind of home for us. So it's good to be back to Idaho, and we've been here 5 years now. So definitely like the West better than the East. I do miss the forest, though.
So what do you mean you missed the forest? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like deciduous trees out east, everything is covered in vegetation. Whereas, as you know, out west here, you get a little more open landscape. But yeah, I kind of miss the forest a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, our backyard is sort of the Beartooth Absaroka range
Oh
in
yeah.
that area.
Okay.
So we're not too far from, some pretty good sights and scenes. Um,
Right.
and it's nice to, raise the kids in that kind of environment where our oldest is getting old enough to hunt and stuff. So
Okay.
it would definitely be hard for us to move around a lot. Thankfully with the way things are today, you can get a lot done remotely.
Yes, exactly. And I have a stepson, back to family size, married. We've been married. Oh, I think we just celebrated our 28th anniversary.
Nice.
So almost as long as I've worked for the government, we've been married. And she had a son previous to us. So I have a 31-year-old stepson, 26-year-old daughter, and a 16-year-old daughter. So
Oh,
they're all
wow.
kind of spread out nicely.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, our kids are still pretty small. My oldest is 12 and our youngest is she's going to be a year old in about a week or so.
Oh,
So,
cool.
we got a
Fun.
pretty good spread.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, fun. Okay, so for people who kind of find their way or maybe they know they want to end up in a job like this that gives them opportunity for growth, maybe a little bit security and also a lot of opportunity to be outdoors, what would be kind of your advice in terms of how to make the most out of a career similar to yours?
Well, I would say if you know it's what you want to do, like surveying, for example, find a college and start going to school and get into our Pathways program, that internship program. It's where they'll come and what they'll work the summers with us while they're off school, and they can even work like winter breaks if there's something that we can have them do on a computer or something like that. But then once they actually graduate, we get to convert them into a permanent full-time position in that field. And that's really my best recommendation. It's the easiest and it gets you that experience and really kind of gives you an idea, is that really what you want to do? Maybe you'll take your degree and go elsewhere if it's not something you enjoy, but the experience is invaluable, particularly in cadastral survey. We're the only federal authority surveying, and so we do a lot of work for other agencies, and we work in a lot of different places, a lot of different types of surveying. So our experience is held pretty high in the private sector. And so if they do nothing else but, go through the internship, get our experience, and then move on with their career, that's my best recommendation, internship.
Cool. Sure. So for people who are a little further along in their career, would you say it's really common to have sort of a second act in the private sector, or are there a lot of lifers?
There's a lot of lifers in cadastral. Who knows how it's going to be in the future, but most people, once they get in cadastral, they'll retire with cadastral as a typical thing. And so I'm 48 now. I have almost 30 years in, but I can't retire till 57. So I'll be pushing 40 years by the time I retire. I'm a little rare, but for the most part, cadastral guys, they go all the way. If they get in, they stay. So it's a work. We just love being the outdoors, and it's always boundary work. We don't have to do any construction surveying or anything like that. So that's the big difference between us and private sector. They have a lot of development work, things like that. We're just pure boundary, going out looking for corners, large scale. So we're always seeing different country. A lot of us like to say they pay me to go there. It's like, wow. I've been a lot of places. Martha's Vineyard, I had to go out and do a survey on for 2 weeks, and most people pay a lot of money to go there. I got paid to go there. So.
Well, maybe that you just answered it, but for people who don't know a lot about your kind of work, what is the favorite part or parts? Obviously, that sounds like a big advantage, what you just described.
I think a big thing most of us really love is finding the old corner monuments that were set in like the 1870s, 1850s, and you're the first one to touch it since it was set. And so that's quite the thrill. And that's really what most of us really just love. The investigative part, going out and finding these corners that haven't been seen for 150 years. So
That's cool. That's really cool. So, how does the fruits of your work impact like other agencies and other people, like in the federal government, but also it sounds like maybe outside of the federal government, there's benefits as well.
yeah, pretty much when we're done with the survey and we officially accept a survey, you can definitely count on that boundary. And so people then, the government's not trespassing on adjoiners aren't trespassing on public land. And so it really gives everybody that fine line to build, develop to, manage to for agencies. It's mostly about management. So they need to know like where to do fire rehabilitation. We don't want to be trespassing on private lands and stuff. So really, I feel like, and this is tooting cadastral's own horn, but we are kind of the really vital to know where your boundaries are, to know what to manage. And then for the other side, public land users, where are the boundaries so that you can use the land freely and enjoy it without, being in trespass or anything like that. So we kind of draw the line in the sand, so to speak.
That's really cool. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I think my family were big into hunting, and so
Okay.
they're not trespassing and being on
Yep.
public lands and
Yep.
stuff is obviously very important. So how is it that your work gets into like say those maps or whatever that people can purchase or have access to for
Okay.
like that type of use?
So our data, when we collect it, we use GPS nowadays, and so we're getting good coordinates on it. And our GIS staff will use those coordinates and improve the base layer of GIS. So every survey we do helps improve that GIS layer, which is what's used by Onyx Maps and all those third party. That's the data they're actually using. We produce a ground layer. GIS uses that to produce all the other layers like management areas and things like that. But ours is the cadastre, the base layer of that. So every time we do a survey, it helps improve that. And so your phone, it gets more and more accurate the more surveys we do and more time that goes. So
That's really cool. So sometimes like whenever you are like buying property or whatever, you can look at the
yep.
cadastral map and you can see, um, does your work ever have you being like in like town and stuff? Or is it do you mostly get to spend
Yeah.
time out?
I've actually been on surveys in downtown DC along Embassy Row. We've done surveys. I did a survey in Boston at the Air Force Base, Hanscom Air Force Base. It's all city, and so we're dealing with subdivisions and those kind of things. And a lot of what we do is we'll trace back the history, the title, like that Hanscom Air Force Base. I was looking at deeds from the early 1800s and correlating that to on the ground today is kind of what we do. And in that survey, I was along they call it the Great Road, where Paul Revere was captured and the first shot was heard around the world. And so that area was where I was working, looking at all that history and going back in the deeds. And so, yeah, it depends. A lot of times we'll be out in wilderness, out in the middle of nowhere, no cell signal, nothing. Or we could possibly be downtown DC.
That's crazy. Do you end up working with a lot of people who are like history buffs, people who just have a natural inclination to that kind of thing?
Yeah, a lot of us, and I'm one of them. I love history, and so yeah, it's part of our job looking back at all the history and even like river movements. We look at all the historical documents, even newspapers, things like that. I've been to National Archives countless times looking for records, and just odd things help us determine where boundaries are actually located. So,
Oh, really fun. Like,
yeah.
investigator and history,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's a real Venn diagram of a lot of things that are interesting.
Yes. Jack of all trades. That's a surveyor.
That's cool. Cool. Well, I appreciate our time here because I really didn't know that much about like how your work intersects with other agencies.
Right. Yep.
I'm curious. You had just a loop back. You mentioned earlier that you were planning at retiring at 57. How did you pick that time goal?
Well, I don't know that I'll retire then. That's the earliest that I can retire, full retirement with the Fed. So that's they call it minimum retirement age. So
Sure. Cool. But if you're able, you're not like looking to get out as soon as you can.
no, not at the moment. It has been quite tumultuous this year.
Yeah.
So I actually did have a guy contact me. He resigned just the other day because of what's going on, and that type of thing. It is a struggle, but for me, I've been here so long, I don't know how to do anything else kind of thing.
Do you have any aspirations to move within your agency, or do you really like where you're at?
I really like where I'm at this moment. You never know how things could change. If a really cool project came up somewhere in the country, I might be willing to move. You never know. But yeah, pretty much, I think I'm going to stay here till I retire. So,
That's cool. Okay. Well, what just because it sort of interacts with more about what I do for folks, like what
yep.
does retirement look like for you? Since you are really happy with the work you do, and we find that like a lot of the Forest Service and national parks people that I work with have a similar work life, like they enjoy what they do, you know? But sometimes the transition is like they don't necessarily know what their next mission is. Have you given any thought to that? You're still a pretty young guy.
Well, I haven't given a ton of thought, but as a surveyor, being licensed in a state, the first thing I'll just continue surveying, just maybe not with the BLM type of thing. So I think I'll probably survey till the day I die. Or my wife takes it away from me, one or the other.
Do you ever or when your kids were growing up, did you guys like do like geocaching and stuff?
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And actually, speaking of that, I was one of the initial author. It's a cadastral. They call it a curriculum. It's what is it? A school curriculum that BLM published for cadastral survey. And so I was kind of the initial author of it, and it's meant for middle school. And so one of our employees here in Idaho, his kids are homeschooled and they're part of a homeschool group. So they took that curriculum, kind of went through it. Then I and a few other staff took them out in the desert, and we actually kind of a field trip. We went out and found a corner that was set in 1890, and the kids helped dig it up and replace it with a brass cap and everything. And so that's kind of our trying to recruit the future type of thing. And they had a blast. They loved it. We actually took our official notes. We put each of them as an assistant in our official notes for that corner. And so they all they're part of history now. So
That is really
so
cool.
that was really, yeah. Yeah.
And did your youngest join you for that?
Yes. Yep. She did. She
Nice.
came out and she took pictures for me. So
That's really cool. Yeah. Is that something
yep.
that like anyone can access online or something?
Yeah, it actually is. I could send you the links if you want through LinkedIn. I can send you the links to that stuff, and feel free to share it. And any local BLM, any surveyor, we're all pushing for getting kids into surveying. And so a local surveyor, if a school, a teacher wants to use that curriculum, they could do a field portion. And so it's definitely open, and I'm always available for questions about it. And so I can always help get in touch with other surveyors. And so if you do find interest in it at any schools or anything, definitely feel free to contact me, and I can help kind of navigate things and maybe even have somebody do a presentation for you guys or whatever. So
Awesome. Well, that's super generous of you. Thank you, Monty.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, nope.
I was a former educator, and I have young kids, and I'm always trying to find ways to like supplement and enrich
Yeah.
their education. So that's super valuable. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Cool. I want to be respectful of your time. I don't know how much time you allotted for this, but my hope and intention is to turn this into content to share with other people in the
Okay.
public land space.
Cool.
And then my dog's behind me being distracting.
That's all right. My cat's laying here looking at me, waiting for me to pet him. So
Is the bad burger on your hoodie, is that in Billings?
no, that's Livingston, Montana. My
Oh.
wife's brother. It's a food truck. It's really good if you ever see him at an event or anything. So
Nice. Yeah. Well, Livingston has a really good farmer's market, so he's probably
Oh.
there a bit.
yes, I believe he does show up there quite often. So yep.
Nice. Well, cool. I love this part of the world. It always feels like a small world.
Right? Yes. And even if, I moved around a lot, I talk to people, oh yeah, Bozeman, and get to talk. And it's like, wow.
Well, it was a
I
real pleasure
graduated
to-
high school in Miles City, Montana is where I
Oh.
graduated. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely familiar with that area as well.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you, Monty. Appreciate it.
Yep. You have a good one. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.